Okay, it's beginning. Um, I've never done ultra speaking, but I feel like I am taking a little bit of inspiration from that in how I'm approaching these journals, these videos. I don't really have a plan. So I will say that I feel both very calm and also nervous. My feet don't quite feel solid, like they don't feel really connected to the floor right now. I feel a sort of shallowness in my breath. Sort of constricted as well. I think what I want to talk about today is some of my own fears around Shift 30, both as the person who has put the idea out there and made the invitation to you, but also as someone who will be participating in it. So yeah, because I definitely have fears. Let me quickly put on a timer just so we have a little bit of guidance here. So, my fears. One thing for context is that the fears that I have now are different and of different magnitude than they've ever been in the past. Whereas in the past, even as recently as 2 months ago, I was incredibly afraid of putting myself out there as any kind of expert or as somebody with any kind of offering for other people, whether an offer of a service of some kind or an offer of a product. That terrified me. I very much wanted to do those things. But I also had a huge amount of resistance to it. And I spent a lot of time this year reflecting on that and just exploring the nuances of why that is and how it occurs and processing some of it. And I I think I can speak for many people when I say that I've had a desire to make something online, sell something online, do my own thing, really, for a long time. For me, I would say basically a decade, if not slightly more, I've always wanted to make something of my own. And, you know, I say that, and part of it is like, I want to. I don't personally use or really relate to this like self-describing as an artist, but that impulse to make something of one's own, that is a reflection of oneself in a creative way. That's something that I've always wanted to do, right? To bring together my various interests and passions and skills into one crystallized form to share with people. I've always wanted to do that. And the question of who am I and what does it mean to be myself is a question that goes back a very long way for me. At least I wrote my college thesis on that very question. What does it mean to be yourself? So I've been asking the question for a while, and I've been exploring it in depth for a while. And yeah, this desire to make something of my own and put it out there and offer it to people and share it with people, that is also a reflection of that. To be myself, to make something that only I can make, as Rob Hardy likes to describe it. Make something only you can make. So there's that side of it. And then, there's the side of it which is wanting this idea of freedom. Freedom from the constraints of a normal job. Freedom to be able to work wherever, whenever, how much you want, on the things that you want. That's also a huge part of it. But again, for 10 years, I've wanted that in a very explicit way. It's been a articulate idea in my mind for 10 years. And only just now has it really come to fruition. I've had many ideas over the years, but never has anything brought me to life in the way that this idea of Shift 30 has. And never have I ever felt the space and the confidence, or maybe better described as the lack of fears, that allows me to actually make it and share it. That's never happened before. So all that to say is that my fears now are different than they have been in the past, because I've done something I've never done before, and I'm in a position that I've never been in, which is putting something out there that I've made, that I'm excited about, that I'm proud of, that I want to share, and that I think can help people. I've never been in that position before. I've sold and worked on selling plenty of other people's things. That's been my entire career. But I've never done it for myself. So about that, I'm very happy. I'm very excited. And it feels amazing to be able to sit down and talk about this and do marketing, I guess. I mean, technically this is a piece of marketing in as much as it's sort of going out there to potentially interest people in Shift 30 or educate people in Shift 30, spread the word in a sense. So in some technical way, what I'm recording right now is a piece of marketing, but I'm not really thinking about it in that way. And I'm certainly not trying to make it that, because what the hell am I doing right now? Like, this is not, I mean, I guess there's perspectives from which you could argue it's good marketing, but it reflects, it's nothing like any marketing that I've ever done in professional capacity. There is no strategy here. It's just something that I thought I would like to do, and that might be valuable for people, but most of all would be valuable for me, to get a chance to sit down and share what's on my mind and think through this program as we approach the start date, and then through the course of the program, give myself a platform or like a little space to talk about what I'm experiencing each day, what I'm learning, what I'm processing, what felt shifts I'm working on. And I talked about in yesterday's video that I am making no commitment to sharing the shifts that I go through in July, because some of them might be very raw, and I think it's a bad idea, at least for me, to share that stuff, because it's like I described yesterday, it's wearing your heart on your sleeve. But in IFS terminology, it's like taking away all the protection around your exile, or taking away some of it and holding it out there to the public. That is extremely vulnerable of an act. And in making yourself that vulnerable, the other parts of your system, protectors, firefighters, however you want to talk about it, they're gonna fucking try to protect you. And for me, that protection can look like just completely shutting down. It can mean completely withdrawing from the public, from Twitter, like not talking to people anymore, not feeling good about going on Twitter at all, because I'm feeling super sensitive and exposed. Like, I don't want to put myself in that position. So yeah, I'm going to be taking it day by day with how much I share. I'm going to be honest, I lost my train of thought just there. But I guess, circling back to what I said I would talk about, my fears in doing this, that touches on one of them. I am afraid of overexposing myself. Even in making this recording, I'm afraid of overexposing myself, because I've been through that, and I have overexposed myself emotionally in ways that are not healthy for me, or extreme ways that lead to rebounds into the opposite extreme. And it feels exciting. There's a lot of adrenaline that comes with that. There's a lot of excitement and joy and feeling of power that comes with doing something you've never done before, and stepping outside of your comfort zone, and yeah, there's a huge rush that comes with that. And you can feel very high, like you're walking on air. Um, but at the same time, just because you feel like that doesn't mean that you will remain feeling like that. Your system is going to be trying to figure out some sort of way to get back into homeostasis. And that's one thing that I think I did talk about yesterday, but it's just really something that I want to emphasize, is like, as I go into this and as you go into this, like, really be cautious. Or if you, even, or I don't want to say that in like a parental kind of way, like, oh, wear your helmet, and just be annoying about safety. But maybe the other way to put it is just like, expect to have down days, expect to have anxieties and insecurities and heavy, darker feelings show up. Like, this kind of work isn't all an upward spiral. And I think if you are familiar with IFS terminology, like, that will make sense to you. And that's one of the reasons why I like IFS so much, at least as a way to conceptualize what's going on inside of you. Like, it is a system. And if you change one aspect of it, the rest is going to change, but you don't always know how it's going to change. So, again, back to my fears. I'm afraid that I will overexpose myself. All right. I'm afraid that I don't know enough to do this. I have, part of what it was exciting about Shift 30 when it occurred to me was like, I don't necessarily have to be the expert here. I can be, and I'm willing to be, but I don't necessarily have to be. I'm not the one teaching everyone everything they need to know, and that's why I'm really excited about all the people who have joined, so that you are incredibly smart and experienced with this. Not everyone who has joined is, but many of you are. And I'm going to get to learn from you. We all are. We're all going to get to learn from you. We're all going to get to learn from each other. That excites me a lot. But still, I'm afraid of, showing up as the host or the leader of this, and people expecting that I'm going to be teaching them everything they need to know, and that, like, I know all the answers, and that I can just help them in every possible way. And I'm afraid that I wouldn't be able to live up to that. That's not everything that I feel. I do feel like I can do a lot of good, that I can help with a lot of things. But the fear still exists. I'm afraid of letting people down. I'm afraid of, yeah, I mean, just in general, setting expectations that I then fail to meet. I'm afraid of unwittingly setting expectations that I don't even realize that I need to meet, you know? Like, I've tried to be quite tame in the marketing of Shift 30. I'm not trying to make big promises. I have had to make so many big promises in my career that didn't feel good to make, that were only being made in order to get people's attention and get them to buy, but they weren't really true. They weren't really justified to make. So having had that experience so many times, I don't want to do that in my own work, in my own projects. So I've really not I've tried to not really make a lot of promises. I think what I articulated in the original sales pitch, sales thread, and in the welcome video is, the promise is really, who knows what's going to happen. We'll see. And this is the first time doing this. I've never done Shift 30 before. I've done focusing a lot. I've done IFS work a lot. I've done all this various types of processing work, but I've never done it in this context, or with this much, I guess, discipline, just in the sense of like every single day having this specific goal of trying to experience a felt shift. I've never done it in that way, so I don't know what's going to happen. I'm excited to find out, but I can't promise anything. I can't tell you what to expect. All I can tell you is what I've said earlier today, is like, expect that it's not all just going to be fun. It's not all going to be easy. You will probably experience emotional pain. You will probably experience fear, shame, anger. It's not all just going to be, just like floating on air. It's not going to be just this like crazy spiritual emotional high. Like, that's not how it works. So it's a terrible marketing thing to say, but like that's as much as I can promise. Like, on the positive side, or the exciting side, I don't know what to expect. I can tell you that over the past few months, over the past year, over the past couple years, I have transformed a lot. My life has changed a lot. I feel very different than I used to feel in all varieties of ways, all different areas of my life. So yeah, things change. Things get lighter and more spacious. But I don't know what that's going to look like for you, and I can't promise anything about that. But I feel like I can promise that it's going to be tumultuous, because it definitely has been for me. So be prepared for that. Don't go into this expecting that it won't be full of dark experiences and heavy experiences and sadness and pain and fear. Like, it will be. I mean, and again, that too is kind of up to you. The intensity is up to you, and I guess I'll stop now, just so that I don't go on too long, and I can talk about this another day. But the intensity is really up to you. You don't have to go incredibly deep. You can work with small things. that's totally fine. That's probably a better idea. I mean, it's up to you what you feel comfortable with, what you feel safe with. But yeah, maybe you just want to work with really trivial, mundane, small things in your life. You don't have to go deep and like explore your entire soul. Like, it can just be about little things in your day that you want to change. Like, maybe you want to wake up a little bit earlier. Explore that. Whatever it is. Do it your way. There's no rules here. This is not a challenge. And I think I said this in the welcome video for the free write party that's happening this weekend on Saturday the 25th. It's not a challenge. Like, yeah, in a way, the messaging and the name of these things, Shift 30 for 30, it sounds like a challenge, right? There's Whole 30, which is like a paleo challenge. There's Ship 30 for 30, obviously the inspiration for this program's name. That's a challenge, right? To publish every single day. So I'm playing off those names, but this really is not a challenge. There's no requirement. You go as deep and as intensely as you feel comfortable doing. And really, this is about creating a collective space, like a group of us who are all there for each other, who all have the same intention to explore this stuff to some degree and are there to support each other's endeavors, so that we all have each other's back. Because it can be tough to do this stuff alone. And having people who support you, who are willing to listen, who you feel safe around, that can by itself be transformative and allow you to do things and explore things that you never knew you could explore, or you never imagined you would feel confident or safe enough to explore. So we'll see, we'll see how the group is, what the group dynamic is, but that's very much what I'm hoping for. And that's the sort of environment and person that I'm trying to invite into this, is somebody who's gonna be supportive of everyone else in it and contribute to making it a very collaborative, nurturing, safe space for everyone. So I'll stop there. That's today's journal, and we'll chat tomorrow. Okay? Have a beautiful day.